Good morning, everybody. This is a very happy day, and I'm sure under our masks there's a lot of smiles here. I'll be reminded, I think, periodically to stay close to the mic. Good morning again. I'm Ann Austin. I'm serving as the interim dean of the College of Education, and we want to welcome you to our September 2021 Doctoral Convocation, a long-awaited ceremony celebrating the wonderful achievements of those who have completed their degrees last year and this year. And we now have the pleasure to be together to celebrate, which is very happy news. The College of Education began this event more than 30 years ago as a way to honor our graduate students as they complete their degree programs and prepare to accept new and challenging professional responsibilities. However, this convocation is not intended to replace the university commencement ceremony, which will be held later today in the Breslin Center at 2 p.m. It's a very nice ceremony. Doctoral students will be formally conferred, the doctoral degrees, will be formally conferred at that ceremony. You can view the doctoral ceremony by going to the MSU commencement site. The College of Education takes pride in its graduates, and we hope that you'll take pride in the quality of the programs you've completed or will soon complete. The college, as we know, is internationally acclaimed and widely respected because of the faculty, the programs, and the alumni who represent it so well across the world. You might be interested to know that the first education course at MSU was offered in 1902 and served as a catalyst for the impressive trajectory that resulted in what is now the College of Education. The MSU programs in kinesiology also have a long and impressive record that's woven into our history. And over time, the college has maintained a culture of growth and of excellence. It's earned a national reputation as a highly regarded leader based in part on its innovative and rigorous programs of professional study. The quality of our programs continues to be recognized. For the 27th consecutive year, U.S. News and World Report has rated our programs in elementary education and secondary education as number 1 in the nation. We're also ranked number 1 in the nation currently in 3 other program areas: curriculum and instruction, educational administration, and rehab counseling. Our programs in kinesiology are known widely for producing outstanding graduates who contribute to the field as scholars and practitioners focused on improving health and human movement. We had an excellent talk yesterday afternoon highlighting the research on human movement right in this room. A number of our other programs are all ranked among the best in the country. These accolades reflect the accomplishments of our faculty, our students, our graduates, and the support of our very dedicated staff. And as you join this group of graduates, I know that you'll be bringing honor and pride for your own accomplishments to our college community. Let's give an applause for just being part of this great community. We're so pleased that you're all here today to celebrate this excellence and forward-looking community with us, and especially with our graduates. We now take pleasure in introducing the doctoral candidates who will receive their degrees today. I will introduce the 4 academic departments and their chairpersons. I'll also read the names of the programs and the faculty members who have served as advisors to our doctoral candidates and graduates who are participating today. The advisor will introduce their advisee, which is always a very special part of this ceremony. And then the candidate will be hooded by their advisor and their chairperson. When a faculty member is hooding more than one advisee, the faculty member will introduce the first candidate and hood that candidate, and then proceed to introduce the next candidate and so forth before the next advisor introduces their candidates. Advisors have prepared a brief biography of their advisees and will be keeping their remarks to a minute or so in order to conclude in a timely manner so the graduates participating in this ceremony can reach the Breslin ceremony by 1 p.m. I know as an advisor myself over many years, it's very hard to keep to that 1 minute because we're so proud of our graduates. But we will all do our best so that we can go to the next ceremony too. To help us keep good timing, a timekeeper is seated below with, we just have to be careful because we're very enthusiastic about our students. So there is going to be a timekeeper down here who will help our faculty remember the timing too. And while the graduate is being hooded, our college photographer will take pictures, and those will be available for viewing in the coming days. We'll now ask our candidates and faculty to begin lining up to the left of the stage, over here, in the order listed in your program. After the candidate has been hooded, you can start to line up. That's great, Gloria. Thank you. After the candidate has been hooded, we'll ask you to please follow the arrows, which are out here on the floor, to exit the stage. And you'll use these right-hand stairs over here. And please return to your seat for the rest of the ceremony. Now, normally, there's lots of handshaking and hugging because this is such an important day. And I think the advisors and faculty will find the appropriate ways to congratulate their advisees. I want to let you know I'm going to stay behind here, and unfortunately, I will not be extending my hand in congratulations because I have had an unfortunate mishap. And so I am not able to do that, but I'll be standing back here with a lot of enthusiasm. But I won't volunteer my hand right now. But after the hooding, the graduates will proceed this way, and I will be nodding here with great, great enthusiasm. So we will begin with the candidates from the Department of Counseling, Educational Psychology, and Special Education, chaired by Dr. Carrie Rosette. And with the program in Rehabilitation Counseling, Dr. Gloria Lee will introduce her advisee, Jorem Emilian Awadu.
Good morning, distinguished guests, graduates, and families, and colleagues. It gives me tremendous pleasure to introduce Dr. Jorem Awadu, PhD in Rehabilitation Counselor Education. Dr. Awadu's dissertation is entitled Validation of Autism Screening Assessment, Comparison of the Social Communication Questionnaire, Social Responsiveness Scale, and 23Q with DSM-5 in assessing the autism spectrum disorders in Uganda. He is now a research associate with the Global Neuropsychiatry Research Center at MSU. His dissertation has laid the groundwork for the future development of culturally sensitive instruments to help with the early identification of autism in Ugandan children and also to establish services for this family. Dr. Awadu would like to thank the following individuals: his late mother, Jane Akopo, his father, John Akopek, dissertation committee, Drs. Gloria Lee, Michael Leahy, Andrew Nate, and Martin Volker. Department chairperson, Dr. Carrie Roseth, master's program advisor, Dr. Connie Song, his wife and son, Esther and Drethel, his siblings, especially Kevin. And personally, as his advisor, I'm very privileged and honored to have this opportunity to work with you. And I wish you the very best with the work that you will be impacting on the growth and your country. And congratulations again.
And now from the Program in Measurement and Quantitative Methods, Dr. Chi Chang will introduce Hope Akezi.
Hope joined MQM after receiving 2 degrees in statistics. Her dissertation, Incorporating Differential Speed in Cognitive Diagnostic Models with Polyphemus Attributes, generalizes response time in cognitive diagnostic assessment to measurement of polyphemus attributes with variable response times. Drawing her deep measurement knowledge and extensive statistical training, Hope's work is an important contribution to the measurement field. She is currently a statistician at the Community Evaluation and Research Collaborative at MSU. Hope would like to thank her advisor, Dr. Kim Kelly, for her support and encouragement through the program. She would also like to thank her husband, Henry Akese, for his love and support, especially during the trying times of the pursuit of her degree. Many thanks go to Hope's brother, Christopher Electricu, other family members, and friends. She appreciates their unwavering love, encouragement, and support, and prays that God will richly bless them for all that they do. Congratulations, Hope.
And from school psychology, Professor Jana Alperly will introduce Ellen Bebe Hicks. And then we'll have 2 other advisors.
I am delighted. Ooh, raise this up. I am so delighted to introduce Ellen Bebe Hicks. With her organization, her genuine empathy, and her cultural sensitivity, Ellen is an exceptional school psychologist. She just started her 2nd year as a school psychologist in Saline, Michigan. She wishes to thank her mom, her dad, and her sister for their support. She would also like to thank her friends, MSU faculty, school psychology supervisors, and her cohort for their encouragement during graduate school. During the pandemic, she learned the importance of being flexible and establishing connections with school staff and students. Her favorite memory was teaching coping skills to kindergarten classes and a small group for 3rd graders. In the future, she hopes to work for the Department of Defense Education Activity, DODEA, overseas, focusing on mental health and social emotional needs. Again, Ellen Hicks. Next, I'm thrilled to present Sarah Plum. With her intelligence, attention to detail, and commitment to relationships, Sarah Plum is also an exceptional school psychologist. Sarah is so happy to be in her 2nd year working as a school psychologist for 2 elementary schools as part of Grand Haven Area Public Schools. While on internship in Wyoming Public Schools, her proudest accomplishment was contributing to Wyoming's multi-tiered system of supports team and leading a Tier 2 group to support students' social-emotional skill development. Sarah would like to thank her family for supporting her, her friends for encouraging her, and the faculty for challenging her. She would also like to thank her internship team for making her fall in love with school psychology, and her cohort for not only enhancing the learning experience, but especially for making grad school enjoyable and memorable. Sarah greatly appreciates their positivity and encouragement, and she'll remember it always as she reflects back on her educational experience. Sarah Klum. Finally, comma. Finally, comma. Ah! I didn't even have a comma on here. That's amazing. Finally. I am so delighted to introduce Kristen Shirey. Oh, man. Sorry, Kristen. Let me start over again. Again, I'm so happy to introduce Kristen Shirey. With her unflappable demeanor, which is pretty important right now, her wisdom and her interpersonal strength, Kristen is also an exceptional school psychologist. While on an internship with Eaton Regional Education Service Agency, her proudest accomplishments were developing great relationships with coworkers, families, and students within Mid-Michigan, and honing her time management so she could strike a happy balance between work in schools, graduate classes, and life outside of grad school. She would like to thank her parents, her fiance, and her friends. She would also like to thank her supervisors over the last 3 years. This year, she's working in Hazlitt Public Schools at the elementary level. She is most excited about working as a school psychologist, developing close relationships with students, families, and school staff, while also working to bridge the gap between research and practice. Kristen Shirey.
Dr. Sarah Whitmer will also be introducing her.
This is Elizabeth Louise Snyder. In 2020, Liz became a 4-time MSU graduate. MSU is truly her second home. Throughout her graduate work, Liz was committed to conducting research on an often neglected student subgroup, namely English learners. Through her research, she offered practical guidance on how to better address their unique academic needs. Upon completion of her dissertation, she was able to provide several specific recommendations to leaders of a state-led reading initiative to improve services for English learners. Liz is now working in private practice as a psychologist and on track to becoming a fully licensed psychologist following completion of just one remaining exam. She is grateful to a host of individuals who supported her along her journey and would first like to thank family members, including her wonderful husband, selfless parents, and curious son who arrived and thrived in this world while she was finishing up her dissertation. She also would like to thank her cohort mates. Liz was part of one of our largest cohorts of school psychology doctoral students ever. She describes her classmates inspiring her and teaching her more than she could ever have imagined. She also indicated a desire to thank me, her advisor, for helping her through uncharted territory to complete a dissertation she was truly passionate about. Liz, it was a pleasure. Your passion and the passion of your classmates is so contagious. Thanks for bringing that to our program, and now on to others. Elizabeth Snyder.
Next, we'll recognize candidates from the Department of Educational Administration, which is chaired by Dr. Shanika Williams. We'll begin with the program in education policy. Dr. Amita Chudgar will introduce her advice.
Good afternoon. It's an honor for me to introduce you to Michelle Marie Bruno Lily Solorio. It has been an honor for me to travel along with Michelle on her dissertation journey. This work has taken Michelle on many adventures to new places, to new languages, new literature, and new methodologies. Michelle has embraced it all with grace, humor, and brilliance. The result is an innovative and timely dissertation on language, education, and conflict in the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire. This long and productive journey has been made joyful by the presence and support of her husband, David Solorio, and her parents, Laura and Terry. Michelle wishes to extend a special thanks to her husband and her parents, those in Côte d'Ivoire who welcomed, supported, and mentored her in her dissertation committee at Michigan State. Michelle is now working at Save the Children in an applied research capacity for humanitarian response teams in West and Central Africa and the Middle East. I'm truly so proud of what Michelle has achieved, and I'm very excited for the road ahead of her.
I'm seeing a little bit different ordering over here, so we'll get ourselves adjusted. I'd like to introduce Dr. Lynn Payne, who will introduce her advisee, Jessica Marie Landgraf.
I'm privileged to have the chance today to introduce my advisee, Dr. Jessica Landgraf. Jessica's dissertation, More Than Making Connections, a mid-level coordinator actor's role in the Tanzanian early childhood system, reflects the unique range of her expertise: early childhood education, educational policy, and international education. To pursue her interests, she charted an ambitious program in educational policy, seizing learning opportunities in the US, Tanzania, and global educational policy practice sphere. Her dissertation examines the role of mid-level actors working to coordinate and support the development of a comprehensive early education system. Informed by network ethnography, she unpacked the ways a Tanzanian organization engaged in networking, communicating, and interpreting to advocate policy for young children. With her creative insights, her resourcefulness, and her generous spirit, Jessica is making a real contribution in a globally critical area, and I'm very happy that she has joined MSU's Human Development and Family Studies Department, working in the Child Development Laboratory. She thanks all those who've supported her PhD journey, especially her family, and I'm very happy her parents are here today with us, her friends and committee. Join me, please, in congratulating Jessica.
Congratulations. Again, we're moving our order a little bit around, partly because we have advisors who have people in two different programs. So I'm going to turn to Dr. Barbara Schneider, who will introduce Christopher Clayton.
Hello, everybody. Chris was one of the most gifted and talented graduate students that I've ever had and worked with. Masterfully analytic and conscientious, all of his scholarly work shows attention to solving important, significant problems to improve the educational system and the children it serves. Chris wrote a brilliant dissertation, took an incredible leadership role in our intervention, and has published several papers in major referee journals, including one that just got accepted this week and another one in a top-tier economics journal. A sincere, thoughtful, and willing collaborator, he was a statistical tutor and teacher to an office full of undergraduate, graduate, and postdoctoral students. It is not surprising that he was appointed to become the research director of the Center for Statistics for Evidence-Based Policy and Practice at Northwestern University. This is quite a position for a recently minted PhD student in education policy. I believe we should all feel extremely proud of this accomplished PhD graduate who just also happens to be a kind human being, a true joy to work with, and someone who I believe we never will forget. Thank you.
And now we'll have Dr. Christy Cooper-Stein, who will introduce Amy Alito.
This is Dr. Amy Alito. Today, Amy is formally celebrating the completion of her PhD degree from spring 2020. Amy's dissertation focused on early career teachers and the factors that impact their satisfaction and their commitment to teaching. Amy is currently working as a senior research and evaluation associate at the Utah Education Policy Center at the University of Utah. As she celebrates this milestone, Amy would like to thank her committee members, myself, Josh Cowan, Catherine Strunk, Chris Torres, and David Stroop. She would also like to thank her education policy classmates and all of the friends she met at MSU. And she would like to thank her family, particularly her parents, Mike and Karen, her Aunt Mary Beth, her grandfather John, and her Aunt Sue, who have all have inspirational careers in education. Finally, she would like to thank her husband, Chris, who just graduated a moment ago, for all of his support. Congratulations, Amy.
We'll turn now to the program in educational leadership, where Dr. Christy Cooper-Stein will introduce another advisee, Dina Wilbeck.
Dr. Dina Wilbank is currently the coordinator of career education and counseling in the College of Human Medicine here at MSU. As she celebrates this milestone today, Dina wants to express her sincere love and gratitude to her husband, Eric, who was a great source of support for her throughout her program. Eric ran this doctoral milestone with Dina every step of the way, cheering her on when she was exhausted or feeling guilty about missing out on family occasions. He never once complained. Dina is forever grateful and blessed to have Eric in her life. On behalf of her dissertation group, Dina would also like to thank her dissertation chair, myself, and her dissertation committee, Dr. Maverick Gordato, Dr. Yusiak, Dr. Yun, and Dr. Torres. They loved working with each of you and wish you the best in your endeavor. The group also wants to acknowledge Dr. Chapin, Dr. Chambers, and Dr. Smith, who taught them the power of social justice in education. Congratulations, Dina.
We'll continue now with Dr. Chris Torres, who has two people to introduce, beginning with Kelly Anderson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have the immense privilege of formally introducing Dr. Kelly Anderson here. Dr. Anderson currently works as the principal of Stottlemyre Early Childhood Center in Wayne, Westland. I had the privilege of virtually observing her transition to this role in the middle of the pandemic, while also caring for a new addition to the family and completing her dissertation, no easy feat. Over the course of their dissertation on virtual educator networks, which we worked on virtually, of course, Kelly consistently pushed my thinking and learning on teachers' professional learning and social networks. Dr. Anderson and her group exemplified the mission of the EDD program because they constantly sought ways to implement their learning to make an impact on teachers and school districts. In fact, they're still working with school districts today on their practice. And at its core, their work deeply respects teachers as professionals and their agency as learners, which I think is critical in these contentious and difficult times that the field is facing. Kelly hopes to eventually work in politics and policy on early childhood education issues. She'd like to thank her husband for his tireless support and her sister for motivating her to complete this program. She'd also like to thank her family and friends who supported her through this journey. Join me in congratulating Dr. Anderson. I'm also privileged to introduce Dr. Horn here, whose name you can see on his beautiful face mask here. Dr. Horn recently transitioned to the role of Director of Undergraduate Student Engagement for the Eli Broad College of Business here at MSU. He and his colleagues, Dr. Janita Porter and Dr. Kelly Anderson, wrote a wonderful and timely dissertation on virtual educator networks as a form of educator development. This work brought together a team of educators from different buildings and backgrounds to have them identify and address important problems of practice through the use of protocols that they developed and facilitated. When I think of the phrase Spartans will, I really think of this team. They demonstrated tremendous collegiality and perseverance in completing this rigorous work during the height of the pandemic. Not only did they conduct rigorous research, but unlike many other studies, their work had an actual impact on educators by supporting them and helping them build new and positive relationships during an extremely difficult time while they were navigating online learning. Most importantly, Ken would like to thank his wife, Allison Horn, and their children, Everly and Brooke. He could never have done this without your support. Congratulations, Dr. Horn.
I'm now pleased to introduce Dr. Melissa Uziak, and she will be introducing three new graduates, beginning with Mary Bean.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so wonderful to have everyone in one space, and I know this is really a great day for everyone, including me. I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Mary Beam. She is a committed scholarly practitioner, changing the course of how her organization impacts students, families, and her community. It has been an honor supporting her studies and her growth. Dr. Beam's dissertation in practice is entitled Preschool and Kindergarten Teachers' Perceptions, Identification, and Intervention Methods, a comparison of social and emotional support. Dr. Beam continues to work at the Genesee Intermediate School District, helping to improve teaching and learning in Genesee County. She would like to thank her husband, Jeff, for his support and encouragement throughout the process, and he is her biggest champion. She would also like to thank her children, Mitchell, Maddie, and Max, for their support and encouragement. And finally, she would like to extend a thank you to her dad, who taught her dedication and perseverance. Let's congratulate Dr. Mary Beam. I now have the honor of introducing Dr. Angela Lynn Hards, who is also a hardworking, passionate school leader leading necessary change in her organization. She pushes the boundaries with knowledge and grace. Dr. Hards' dissertation and practice is entitled Mentoring and Its Impact on Novice Educators. Dr. Hards is currently the Director of Curriculum for Davison Community School. She is working to improve systems to create learning spaces for educators and students. She plans to continue to work on improving opportunities for all students. Dr. Hards would like to extend a thank you to her family, Preston, her husband, for his never-ending support. Her achievements would not be possible without him, encouraging her to follow her dream. Her sons, Preston, Thomas, and Mitchell, Ryan, for inspiring her to always set a good example and work for her goals. And to her amazing dissertation and practice partners, Alina, Jessica, and Ken. You did it. And finally, my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Alina Zachary Roth. She is one of the most collaborative, giving, and committed leaders I know. She serves with unconditional care for her community. Dr. Zachary Ross's dissertation and practice is also titled Mentoring and the Novice Educator. She continues to serve as the superintendent of school in Ypsilanti. Dr. Zachary Ross would like to thank God, her mother Ruby McBee, her children Lena and Cordell Zachary, her husband Quentin Ross, and her fellow DEL family. A special thank you to me, Dr. Yun, Angela Hard, Jessica Billadu, and Ken Wright. Dr. Zachary Ross says, this experience has been a true blessing that will impact her life and the lives of children and educators throughout this nation and around the world. Thank you, MSU.
And I'd now like to introduce Dr. Tara Venson Chambers, who's been particularly busy advising 6 students that she will now introduce, beginning with Liesel Jan Carlson.
I think I actually have 12, but some of them couldn't be here today. First is Dr. Lisa Carlson. Dr. Carlson currently works in the Office of Curriculum and Instruction in the Lansing School District as a school improvement data integration specialist, but her educational influence can be felt throughout the region. She is revered in her urban setting as a leader with bold ideas and a graceful delivery. Passion for the youngest learners in her community is the driving force for Liesel's commitment to equitable practices and accessible school support. Lisa would like to thank her parents, her husband Joe, and their children Lily and Cole for their ongoing support and encouragement. Next, we have Dr. Elizabeth Lyons. Like many first-generation college students, Dr. Lyons initially struggled to find her place on campus. Student organizations and faculty and friends of color helped her through. In her dissertation, Elizabeth studied the mentoring experiences of students of color in hopes of helping universities design more welcoming mentoring programs. She is positioned to do just this in her role at MSU's College of Human Medicine, where she fosters inclusive environments for medical students of color. Dr. Lyons expresses her gratitude to her family for their support, her husband for always being there, her parents for the opportunities, and her children, Sophia and Niwin, who are here today, who were and continue to be her biggest motivators. Congrats, Dr. Lyons. Next, we have Dr. O'Neill, or she is better known, Dr. O, has been a culturally responsive educator for many years, and now she adds social justice educator and scholar to her list of accomplishments. She's currently the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Lansing School District. Dr. O would like to especially thank her husband, Andre O'Neill, for being the consistent stability in the family, believing in her, and stepping up to be the primary parent to their 4 daughters while she completed this degree while working full-time so that they would know that in their family, education means empowerment to build a better community. Congratulations, Dr. O. Dr. Sorochi is next. Dr. Sorochi recently transitioned into a position as the Associate Director in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and she's also an adjunct professor with the Saginaw Chippewa Tribal College. As an American Indian higher education professional, Dr. Sorochi is especially dedicated to advocating for Native and Indigenous students and communities. Emily's interest in informal mentoring was largely inspired by her own experience as a college student who did not always know how to navigate higher education. I think many of us in this room can empathize with that. Dr. Sorochi sends a big thank you to her mom and to her sister. She would also like to thank her partner, Brandon, who was her rock and very supportive throughout the process. Dr. Sorochi, so proud of you. Congratulations. Dr. Wallachek, just making sure that we're tracking with the folks over here. Okay, while completing her dissertation in practice, Dr. Wallachek continued to lead her school community as an elementary principal in Frankenmuth, and as often the case in educational leadership, she was also recently tapped to step in as interim superintendent. Her growth and development in the program was marked by her commitment to be a scholarly practitioner. She embraced the intersection of practice and theory. Jill has been an inspiration to her family and colleagues. She would like to particularly thank her husband, Brian, for his support and her children, Lincoln, Jackson, and McKinley. She hopes the sacrifices they endured for her to pursue this dream will be repaid with many opportunities for joy and success. Congratulations. Last but certainly not least, we have Dr. Young, Dr. Shayla Young. Dr. Young entered her program with an indomitable smile and a positive attitude that could not be quenched. It lifted her cohort even during the most stressful times. Dr. Young remains dedicated to supporting first-generation students of color who attend the most under-resourced school districts in West Michigan as they go on to pursue education and career opportunities beyond high school. Now that she has finished her degree, she has shifted her focus. She and her husband recently added a beautiful baby girl, Gia, to their family. Dr. Young has a whole team of family and friends who have helped her achieve this accomplishment. I wish that I could name them all for you, but just know that she wanted all of you to know just how important you have been in her journey. Congratulations, Dr. Young.
Well, we're going to continue with these wonderful announcements of celebration with our colleague, Dr. John Young, who will be introducing Jessica Lee Bilodeau.
I am pleased to introduce Dr. Jessica Lee Bilodeau. Jessica worked on an excellent dissertation of practice entitled Mentoring and Its Impact on the Novice Educator. This ambitious piece of research tackled mentoring in both higher education and K-12, suggesting important ways informal mentoring could be supported by organizations to provide what new educators actually needed versus what the organization thought they needed. Listening to people is central to this work and to the work Jessica does overall. Working with her and her group was always a joy. Their amazing work together is the embodiment of what the EDD was envisioned to be, and as such, they should be as proud of themselves as we are of them. Jessica would like to thank her friends, her family for their support, particularly her husband, Sean, who has supported her throughout and always inspires her to reach her goals. Her colleague, Dr. Harden, who encouraged her to pursue the EDD, and her parents, John and Julie, who have always been there for her to celebrate big and small. And finally, her DIP group, who have been amazing. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Jessica Lee Bilodeau.
We'll now turn to the program in higher adult and lifelong education, and we'll begin with Dr. Marilyn Amy, who has four graduates to introduce, beginning with Jody Michelle Beckler.
Jody's dissertation was one of the first to look at women mid-level administrators' understanding of their leading and following behaviors in the same study. Her findings are so important to better supporting women in these key positions, including those who seek the work at this level as critical to college and therefore student success. It isn't easy to study those who share similar lived experiences to oneself, but in her position as Director of Personnel and Professional Learning at Schoolcraft, Jody will be able to help provide a better environment for those who are the college leaders we need right now. Jody thanks her partner, Ross, for his unwavering support and devotion, and her parents for instilling in her a lifelong love of learning. She thanks her dissertation committee for their time, advice, and insight, as well as her advisor and chair, without whose guidance and encouragement this journey would not have been possible. Dr. Jody Beckler. This is Christy Dumont. Christy, the Director of Undergraduate Student Affairs in our college, examined perceived impact on advising practices of using academic analytics, or AA. She found that advisors felt the launch and utility of AA a distraction, believing instead in advising practices that build important relationships with students, especially those most at risk of not succeeding. Christy wants to thank her advisor and committee for their support and guidance throughout her degree. She also wants to thank her grandma, to whom the dissertation is dedicated, whose passion, admiration, and enthusiasm for education was deeply instilled in her, and her mom, whose constant encouragement and belief in her ability always motivated Christy to keep trying. And finally, Christy thanks her amazing wife, Dana, whose love, support, and encouragement never wavered. Christy is grateful to be walking through life with Dana and knows she wouldn't have made it to this point without her. Christy Dumont. This is Dr. McKenna Riley Neal. McKenna's dissertation explored ways in which practical knowledge transforms into communal wisdom, becoming a participant observer for a year in a women's book club. Her study uniquely demonstrates how women cultivated trust, community, respect, diverse understandings, and learning they apply to their lived experiences, including grief, child rearing, death, life, and change. McKenna is currently a learning experience designer at MSU's Hub for Innovation in Learning and Technology. She wants to thank her partner Curtis and son Henry, and her parents Scott and Peggy, as well as her Hale faculty, her committee members, and the women in the group she studied. McKenna says, and I quote, "To all the formal and informal educators who shared knowledge and wisdom with me over the years, thank you for that gift. Hale provided space to dig deep into something I've observed in communities my whole life. I'm grateful for the support in not only my non-traditional take on writing, but efforts to study informal learning." Dr. Neal. And last on my list, Dr. Levi Shanks. Levi's study brought together many of his doctoral experiences, shedding light on the ways in which formally recognized groups of researchers actually form informal networks and connections that drive the work of STEM reform and organizational change in which we have not tended to notice. This work will be incredibly valuable in his new position as Director for Academic and Student Affairs for the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities, since it operates as a large network of institutions that really is comprised of numerous formal and informal smaller networks that help create change within this sector. Levi wants to thank his wife, Laura, for her patience, support, and unconditional love, his advisor for being a great coach, mentor, and guide, and his beautiful daughter, Maureen, for giving him a reason to hurry up and get done, though it was actually Laura saying it as much as baby Maureen. Finally, Levi wants to thank his cat, Miss Fig, for being the best thought partner around, and I can attest to that. Dr. Shanks, congratulations.
Dr. Dongbin Kim will now introduce Adam Grant.
It is my honor to introduce Dr. Adam Green. His dissertation, just like himself, is one of a kind, thoughtful, and extremely well written. Adam's dissertation touches on a critical but understudied topic, examining international students under optional practical training policy after their graduation. Adam's dissertation certainly adds an important understanding to the current literature and policy analysis by giving personal voices to international students who are deeply impacted by the policy directly, personally, and professionally. Adam thanks his dissertation committee for their time, advice, and insight, and he also would like to thank his parents over there, and his partner, and his young daughter, who is now taking a nap, as well as his peers and professors that have supported and encouraged him throughout his PhD journey. Congratulations, Dr. Adam.
Dr. Chris Wren has two candidates to introduce, beginning with Christopher Davis.
It's really fun to be back doing this. So first, I introduce to you Dr. Christopher Davis. A commitment to using evidence to improve student teaching and learning is Christopher's North Star. Whether helping grade schoolers learn writing or doctoral students learn how to teach, Dr. Davis has committed his career to understanding how we can use assessment to become better educators. While a doctoral student, he worked on studies of undergraduate STEM education and unraveling mysteries about how and why college students choose the courses they do. His dissertation looked through the eyes of graduate students who were learning to teach in the college classroom, and he used innovative visual methods to help them understand and explain how they thought about their teaching. He continues his work as the Assistant Dean for Assessment and an Assistant Professor of Health Outcomes at Binghamton University School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Dr. Davis thanks his parents, Don and Daphne Davis, his wife, Samantha Davis, his advisor, me, and Dr. Renata Opachinski. Congratulations, Dr. Davis. Introducing Dr. Scotty Miller Sechrist. Scotty came to MSU committed to exploring important questions related to college students and to improving higher education to be more equitable and humane. A particular concern for underrepresented students drives Scotty's academic and professional achievements. To this end, Scotty returned to full-time professional practice as lead director for student success at Michigan State while completing his PhD. Scotty's dissertation study of the development of identity-conscious support at Michigan State University will contribute to understanding how universities can transform themselves to better serve students. This commitment to using intellectual talent to create real-world impact is a hallmark of Scotty's way of being in the world and doing it with wit, humor, and humility. Scotty would like to thank Dr. Chris Wren, Patricia Marin, Marilyn Amy, and Mark Largent for serving on the dissertation committee with challenge and support to reach Scotty's fullest potential. Thanks also go to Scotty's parents, brothers, sisters, nieces, and nephews. Congratulations, Scott.
Dr. Matt Rosinski will introduce Jacob Lemon.
It is truly an honor to introduce Dr. Jacob Lemon. Jake's dissertation explored graduate students' experiences of a short-term faculty-directed education abroad program relative to three contexts and their corresponding intersections: adult learning, professional socialization, and curriculum and pedagogy. During Jake's time at MSU, he served as the project manager for the National Peer Educator Study, a national study designed to provide evidence-based research on what student leaders in peer education roles gain from their experience. Jake oversaw creating 35-page institutional reports for over 65 institutions each year for 5 years. That's over 11,000 pages, which is in addition to his writing and coursework and dissertation. He has certainly made a substantive contribution to the literature and practice around peer education. He'd like to thank his family, friends, and mentors who give him strength, motivation, and confidence in his academic journey. A special thanks to his partner, Lita, for her love and unwavering support, to his family for their encouragement and care. Finally, a thanks to his advisor, mentor, as well as his committee for believing in him, inspiring him, and guiding him to reach his goals. He and Lita will be moving to Utah in October, where he has accepted a position as the Associate Director of Assessment and Analytics in the Division of Student Affairs at the University of Utah. Congratulations.
We will now honor our candidates from the Department of Kinesiology, chaired by Dr. Karen Pfeiffer. And we'll begin in the Kinesiology program with Dr. Chris Coons, who will introduce Ashley Triplett.
It is an absolute pleasure for me to introduce Dr. Ashley Triplett. This is Ashley's 4th degree at Michigan State University, which means she's been here a lot longer than I have. And I like to think that Ashley taught me a lot about what it is to actually be a Spartan. So Ashley's taught me about the dedication and the empathy and the giving that come along with being part of the Spartan community, and for that I am very thankful. Ashley joined my lab a little later than expected, but she made no delay in making sure she made an impact. Ashley is an outstanding exercise physiologist who's made meaningful impact on hundreds of young patients throughout the Mid-Michigan community who are recovering from knee surgery or other orthopedic injuries. She's an outstanding teacher and teaching assistant who shepherded some of our undergraduate students through the most challenging courses in the Department of Kinesiology. And she's one of the best softball managers that the Department of Kinesiology has ever dealt with. Overall, though, I do want to say thank you to Ashley and to her family and to everyone else who's gotten her here today. It's not been an easy road, and I'm so happy to have worked with her. Ashley would like to thank her family and lab mates and advisor and committee. And I do have to say we're lucky to add Ashley to the faculty of the Department of Kinesiology starting this fall, and that's a good win for us that I've had the opportunity to work.
Dr. Matt Conifex will introduce David Arthur Henning.
So it's my absolute pleasure to congratulate Dr. David Henning on the successful completion of his PhD in kinesiology. David came to us quite a while ago after completing his Master's of Science at North Carolina at Greensboro with an MS in exercise and sports psychology. His dissertation topics jumped around, but he was able to really focus his efforts and cultivate amazing relationships with individuals and key stakeholders in the cerebral palsy population. And his dissertation examined the role of lifestyle physical activity behaviors on cognitive function and quality of life in that population. David then moved on, and in his second year at Wayne State University as a postdoctoral research fellow in the neuroimaging and neurorehabilitation laboratory, where he's currently working on the beneficial effects of exercise and physical activity in individuals with MS. And David would like to thank his wife for her support and encouragement through his degree process. Congratulations.
And lastly, but with equal enthusiasm, we'll now recognize our candidates from the Department of Teacher Education, chaired by Dr. Dorinda Carter-Andrews, who herself is an advisee of one of the graduates. So we will begin with Dr. Andrews, graduate, who is Ideen.
Dr. Ifat Adeen's dissertation critically examined the ways that race and racism impact Black boys in middle school, an understudied population and context, and it provided practical insights for middle grade educators on how to enhance their relationships with Black boys. EFAT was an instrumental field instructor in the teacher preparation program while a doctoral student. She's a dynamic research and writing partner, and we've had the opportunity to publish our work together in top-tier journals. And we're delighted that she is still with us in the department as a leader, an area coordinator, and providing instruction as well. She would like to thank her dissertation committee, including myself, Dr. Terry Flanaugh, Alyssa Dunn, and Cesare Warren for their support and guidance from the very first day that she stepped on campus. She also wants to thank the staff and faculty across campus, but especially in the College of Ed, who've always been available to help and assist as needed. Her parents, her mother and her father, rest in peace. Her brothers and sister-in-law, sister and niece, and a host of friends and relatives across the country. And last but not least, her rock and love of her life, Ruben, for being an incredible support system and source of love and peace for the past 2 years, and most importantly, during the final year of the program. Congratulations, Dr. Adine.
Dr. Patricia Edwards will introduce Marlise Peltier.
Dr. Peltier loves MSU. She received her undergraduate, her master's, and her PhD. She would like to thank her husband, Dan, daughter, Ariel, her parents, Ken and Miriam. Graduation is one of the biggest achievements in anyone's life. It is the culmination of one sweet chapter in your life and the beginning of another great chapter where you can write a new story. Congratulations, Marlise, on your remarkable courage and brilliance. Your doctoral study at MSU is now history. But remember, a person who graduates today and stops learning tomorrow is uneducated that day after. So as you leave, dear old MSU, do not forget this quote and why you came to MSU's College of Education. May you always keep learning, growing, and realizing the best in yourself. Go Green!
Congratulations. Dr. Tara Benson Chambers will also introduce Sierra Presbury.
Dr. Flanaugh was not able to be here today, and so it is my honor as a member of Sierra's dissertation committee to speak on his behalf about this incredible class. Dr. Presbury is a proud mother scholar, a Detroiter, and a Spartan. As an undergraduate at MSU, Sierra was in the inaugural cohort of Rhodes Scholars, young Detroiters who dedicated themselves to serving their city as teachers. She would go on to teach in special education classrooms, earning a master's degree from MSU along the way. Sierra's dissertation is significant in that it explores and humanizes special education students, teachers, and their families' experiences with restorative justice. Sierra is currently a curriculum development specialist with MSU IT's Instructional Technology Development Team. Dr. Presbury would like to thank her family, friends, cohort members, advisor, and dissertation committee for their support, and her son, Tommy Jr., the sweetest, cutest, smartest kiddo. He's in the back there in the red shirt, for keeping her grounded. Congratulations, Dr. Presbury.
finally, Dr. Corey Drake will introduce Ann Castle.
All right, last but not least, it is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Dr. Ann Castle and to celebrate her spring 2020 graduation. Throughout Ann's time as a site student, she also worked full-time in our department as a literacy instructor and the Lansing Area Elementary Internship Coordinator. In this work, she truly modeled what it means to connect research and practice, as exemplified in her dissertation, Scaffolding Interactions Between Teacher and Student, teacher candidates noticing and enacting practices during small group literacy instruction. At a time when debates rage about how children learn to read, Ann was developing detailed descriptions and theories about how prospective teachers actually learn to teach reading. While Ann has moved on from TE, we are lucky that she is still here on campus, working as an assistant professor in the Office of Medical Education Research and Development in the College of Human Medicine. Ann would like to thank her family, including her husband Dave and her parents who are here today, as well as her 3 children. She would also like to thank Drs. Tanya Wright, Corey Drake, Laura Tortorelli, Bethany Walensky, Pat Edwards, Lynn Payne, as well as the team of faculty and staff in the teacher preparation program for all of their support during her work as a graduate student and an employee in teacher education. Congratulations, Dr. Ann Castle.
Congratulations. What an honor it is for us to be able to celebrate these wonderful and talented graduates. I hope you'll join me. Perhaps you could be louder than I am because clapping with one hand doesn't do it very well, to applaud these terrific graduates. That was an appropriately hearty applause. Wonderful. The accomplishments of a college rest primarily on its faculty. Their contributions to the achievements of our graduates, of course, are essential, and they're a source of great pride to us. I ask that the representatives of the faculty who have joined as participants of this ceremony accept our gratitude for all their contributions. We also know that there's yet another group, and these people have made a tremendous contribution also to the achievements that we're celebrating today. We're so very pleased to ask the families of our graduates to give us an opportunity to also express our thanks and appreciation to them. With so many little ones applauded, all of whom are the best little one, it's going to be quite an interesting, wonderful years to see the successes of the children of these graduates too. You've now become, graduates, alumni of Michigan State University and of the College of Education. We hope that you'll stay connected to the university and to our college. The College of Education Alumni Board is delighted to give each graduate a special pin to reflect our pride in your accomplishment and to welcome you to the alumni family. If you've not already received your pin, in the mail, please pick it up here today. You can do this, pick up this small gift as you exit the Kiva. This would be back here. Eric Sturdy will help you with that. This concludes today our convocation program and our celebration of this very, very happy, long-awaited event. Today's ceremony has been recorded and photographed and will be shared with our community in the coming days. As I mentioned earlier, the university doctoral degree ceremony will take place very soon at 2 p.m. in the Breslin Center. I hope you'll be able to join that ceremony where all doctoral degrees will be formally conferred, and you should hasten there if you are a graduate. You will be expected there soon. I want to thank, before we depart though, our college colleagues, our administration and staff for organizing today's special ceremony of celebration. I was planning to read the rather lengthy list of colleagues who have contributed so much, but I do know the graduates have to move to the Breslin Center. So I hope you will express appreciation to those you know, and we're very, very grateful to everyone who's worked so hard. At this time, we'll ask the audience to remain seated during the graduates' recessional. Advisors and graduates, please exit in a single line, which will be led by Dr. Gloria Lee, right here in the front. The attending faculty in regalia will follow the graduates and will be followed by the chairs, finally, the associate deans, and myself. Once we've completed our recessional, which will move through the hall, we invite our guests to join faculty and graduates in the lobby, out here, of Erickson Hall, or in one of the very nice outdoor convening spaces we have all around the building. We ask that you please wait until an usher dismisses your party so we can avoid too much congestion given the safety protocols we're trying to follow. And finally, thank you so much to everybody attending, certainly to our graduates. Congratulations to every single one of you. And we hope all of you enjoy the rest of this very worthy celebration. Stay safe, stay healthy, and go green.